Throughout history, we've been moving towards more and more engaging mediums, whether it be oh, 1 second, text, photographs, or even video. We currently live in a world full of digital technologies. We have gone from reading books and papers to spending most of our spare time watching TikToks on the internet. In fact, did you know that 28% of adults didn't even read a book in the past year? And TikTok users spend over 1.5 hours on the app every single day? Pretty crazy, but it just goes to show that the internet has become more popularized than ever, whereby cyberspace is continuously evolving. So, what comes next? The metaverse. You've probably heard of this word over the past couple of months. It's a pretty hot topic in the media. So, what even actually is the metaverse? The term was first coined in 1992 by Neil Stephenson's science fiction novel Snow Crash. The word is broken into two parts. The first is meta, which means beyond, and the second is verse, which means universe. So we are actually dealing with the future of the universe, which is a pretty big deal. But generally speaking, the word describes the future iteration of the internet made up of avatars to share space in a virtual universe. Let's take a step back to truly understand what can be done in the metaverse. So first off, we all know what the internet is. It's something we look at, whereas the metaverse is a version of the internet we are inside, essentially an immersive playground. So take anything you do in reality, such as shopping, meeting with friends, going to concerts, engaging in business, or even traveling. But now imagine within a couple of seconds, you could be doing that thing in a way that feels real, with other people present in whatever setting you desire. This is the metaverse achieved through virtual reality and augmented reality. Hold on a second, you must be wondering, what even is virtual reality or augmented reality? Prior to this capstone, I really didn't know the difference and I just used them interchangeably. But let's quickly discuss them for your knowledge if you didn't already know. So virtual reality is completely virtual or online, where VR users control the system through their headset. Alternatively, AR is within the real world, where users can control their presence in the real world and access it through a smartphone, similar to like Pokemon Go in a sense, if you've heard of that. I'm assuming that you have. So the metaverse is up and coming, and it comes to no surprise that people are already getting married in the metaverse. Businesses are already set up in the metaverse, and even Snoop Dogg is buying virtual property, and people are buying surrounding land beside Snoop Dogg for over 400K. It will essentially be a new area of digital technology and business. It will be a place where one can create an avatar, purchase digital assets such as clothing, real estate, attend virtual meetings for work, and much more. The metaverse's mission is ultimately to create a digital economy. So there are many positives to the metaverse. So one of them can be economic growth and an opportunity to expand in a digital domain and profit in a whole new way by creating new marketplaces. Emerging use cases of the metaverse include the blockchain, where companies can leverage the metaverse to create more engaging and realistic NFT markets where individuals could trade within games. All in all, the metaverse creates numerous new business concepts through the creation, ownership, and trading of digital assets, creating a whole new digital economy. Not only that, but it is a form of entertainment, interacting with family and friends in a whole different way. The metaverse may also bridge the gap between in-person and remote work, or even in the healthcare sector. So the metaverse may be advantageous for individuals as there will be no geographical limitations with this use. For example, managers can interact with employees and even have international colleagues work virtually. Although there are many benefits associated with the metaverse, it is essential to consider the issues regarding the policy aspects of having the metaverse in the long run. Already, it is known that the metaverse utilizes user information and sells user data to advertisers to predict behaviors, purchasing patterns, and their current platforms. However, the metaverse will take this to to the next step and another level, essentially. Specifically, Meta plans to focus on the sale of virtual goods, which, like advertising, will require collecting and exploiting personal data. Virtual reality advertisements will specifically be created and predicted by algorithms regarding how you communicate on the platform, from taking your facial expressions and conversation with friends to what concerts you attend. Yet there seems to be no change in trajectory, although these issues arise. Since January of 2022, Meta has patented multiple technologies that use individuals' biometric data to help power what the user sees and ensures their digital avatars are animated realistically. These patents will see what the user sees and gather the data based on the user's facial expressions to adapt media content with personalized advertisements based on race, gender, interest, and how the user interacts within the platform. What comes into question here is the potential harm through mitigating one's personal privacy and information when utilizing the platform. The amount of data a metaverse may generate is likely magnitudes larger than the current web. Personal privacy, marketplace competition, and misinformation become greater challenges in the metaverse due to the interconnectedness of that phenomenon. To avoid potential harm to populations worldwide, it's critical to address tech policy deficiencies before the metaverse enters this market. This way, it can be regulated safely, as the metaverse may be the future of the digital economy. So some policy options that I have listed are just remaining status quo and essentially not doing anything. It's not really an option, but it's something to mention. Currently in Canada, privacy legislation sets out the conditions under which public and private agencies may collect, use, disclose, and retain individuals' personal information. Not only that, but there's the GDPR, a regulation that harmonizes national data privacy laws and enhances the protection of all EU residents to their data. The GDPR applies to all companies, setting more straightforward rules for businesses handling the personal data of EU residents. It has a strict definition of consent where individuals can withdraw consent. Although current regulations exist for the internet, the amount of data a metaverse may generate is magnitudes larger, which I mentioned previously. So many privacy issues that the current regulations can't really uphold in this sense. But the benefit of remaining to status quo is that there's no cost nor time spent on the issue, as it is still being built. So it's not necessarily a major priority, but it's better to be proactive in that sense. So the second option is to create specific regulatory laws for the metaverse, whereby consent is required for users, from users for companies to track and collect for biometric data and advertising prior to entering the actual metaverse itself. It is known that cyberbullying and the spread of information increases due to anonymity. So requiring the metaverse to users to verify their identity and essentially check in could mitigate these negative behaviors. Alongside commissioning officers and monitoring and moderating the copyright posts or misinformation posts is necessary to mitigate issues of that nature. This is beneficial since it allows consumers who value privacy to consent to data being used or not, protect individuals from misinformed posts, and verify identities to stop harassment or cyberbullying concerns, or even large data breaches. The third option is to basically just ban biometric data collection as a whole. By banning biometric data, it will reduce individuals' privacy concerns and will mitigate personalized advertising conducted by companies based on biometric data. In particular, Illinois law prohibits private sector companies and institutions from collecting this biometric data from unsuspecting citizens in the state or even online, no matter where the business is based. So the fourth option is to educate the public about the metaverse through public campaigns to just better understand the usage of the metaverse, its educational aspects, and economic marketplaces. This may also include mentioning privacy issues to users and data collection to better inform the public of how the companies may be collecting their data. It's pretty beneficial as it allows the public to be aware of the consequences as well as benefits of utilizing the metaverse, making their own decision about its usage or not. Lastly, another option is to share data within the companies to the public as well as researchers to increase transparency through data sharing platforms or data trusts. A data trust is a platform where companies can share their data to build a transparent and more equitable network. This can potentially be achieved through a third-party fiduciary or the government of Canada creating a data trust to share data to allow transparency within the metaverse. This will allow for clarity for the public to see specific data collection methods, mitigate excessive data collection, and create more trustworthiness within the community. However, while this may improve public trust and transparency and accountability, there is a risk that hackers can collect large sums of data with the data trust. So what do I personally recommend? The policy recommendation will be fourfold. It consists of the previously policy options that I mentioned, whereby it is important to ban biometric data collection to mitigate privacy concerns and algorithmic advertising based on facial cues. Second, we have data monitoring, whether it be through officers as well as AI tech. It would allow for there to be a decrease in the proliferation of misinformation through the platform. Alongside data monetization, sharing data with researchers and the public is crucial and will allow there to be more transparency within the metaverse. And lastly, just educating the public about the metaverse would essentially be beneficial for their safety and their own knowledge. So with this approach, privacy concerns, data collection, and misinformation concerns are met. And it's important to consider in the future of metaverse regulations. So this is what I recommend as a fourfold recommendation. So thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something from my presentation about the metaverse.